Everybody, hello and welcome to Natitude News, the podcast, the first episode on YouTube. As I mentioned in the introduction video, I did film podcast episodes, about 15 of them over on Substack, since probably early May, right before I left for school, or right before I left to come home from school. So I just started doing those. And if you didn't watch my introduction video, I do write as well. I write articles and stuff like that, like game recaps. And I do like Throwback Thursdays, which is like a throwback. I do like a specific game, place, event, team from the past. So writing is my passion, and that's what I want to do. And I like the podcast too. Excuse the shake, but yeah, we are here. I am very excited to do this. YouTube is something that obviously I think every kid that grew up with in the YouTube age and watched YouTube always wanted to do. I'm not doing it as people that This is something that my people that I grew up watching YouTube didn't really do, a podcast. But I'm still excited to be putting out content on YouTube because it's a place where everybody can go. It's free. You can watch videos for free, and that's what I hope to do. With this is be more accessible to everybody who wants to watch baseball content, who wants to talk Nationals baseball, wants to talk baseball in general, baseball history. I know I mentioned that in the opening as well. Yeah, I am really excited to get this going. Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about today, just kind of like a little bit of All-Star recap because the Home Run Derby was last night, and preview because the game's happening tonight, folks. We are at the All-Star break in the Major League Baseball season. It's crazy to think about because I remember being at school in my dorm room on opening day when the Nationals took down the Cubs in an unexpected series win for them to start the year out. And that's kind of been what it's like so far to root for this team. Obviously, there are things that I would prefer for us to do. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I want to do the All-Star stuff, and I want to do kind of, can the Nats, are they going to be sellers or buyers at the deadline? That's the topic of this conversation today. But first, I kind of want to open up with the All-Star, the Home Run Derby last night. Definitely one of the best home run derbies, probably, that I've seen in a long time. I mean, it kind of had the feeling of, maybe because Harper was playing in his home ballpark, but it had the feeling of 2018 when I remember that game vividly. The home run derby vividly, when he was in front of Nats Park, pretty much in his last hurrah with the team, because we didn't make the playoffs that year. But he, won the home run derby against Kyle Schwarber, his future teammate. And he won, and he did the bat flip. His dad was throwing to him. He was wearing all the American flag stuff. You had Davey and Max Scherzer. You had Davey and Max Scherzer there to kind of greet him and celebrate with him. I remember that so vividly. Even as much as I don't like the guy anymore, because I think he's a traitor and I don't respect him anymore. Man, that was such a cool moment as a kid to be able to watch that. And this year, probably best home run derby since that. I'll be honest with you. I tune into them every year, but it gets a little boring, and I'm really glad they changed the rules up with the no more timer, because the whole point of the home run derby is you're supposed to be able to watch the home run. The home run ball is the show. The home run is the show. You want to see how far it goes. But when we had the timer, the pitcher would throw it, and they'd hit it out, and you couldn't really watch it because you had to keep going and going and going. And it really ran their endurance down, their stamina was down. And that's why they got so back in the day, a couple of years ago, they get so tired at the end of the rounds, it would be like a dud. All the balls would be duds. They wouldn't leave. But what I think is good about these rules is that it allows the players to just relax, take pitches, not have to rush. So we can see what Jordan Walker did. He was able to hit 4 or 5 home runs in a row to win last night because his stamina was up, because he was able to take, his stamina and energy were up because he was able to take two balls after every homer that he hit. So I really fell in love with the home run derby last night. I think obviously Harper and Schwarber, they were duds. Schwarber, well, I shouldn't say Schwarber because Schwarber went to the finals, for God's sakes. I don't know why I just said that. Harper was a dud. I was a little disappointed in Murakami and Jack Caglione just because I know that those are, they're big lefty hitters, especially Caglione. And I know that he can really, really pump the ball. I was really disappointed that he finished so low. Who else was in there? Obviously, Jordan Walker won. Caminero had a stinker. Contreras, as much as us Nats fans are kind of enemied with him now, we're kind of enemies now, but I think he had a really good performance. First batter of the game, first hitter of the home run derby. He was kind of the guinea pig, as Barry Bonds and Albert Pujols were talking about last night. By the way, really cool to get Barry Bonds on the broadcast. That was a pretty star-studded broadcast. I don't know if I like Netflix doing it. I'd rather them just do Fox, but I liked who they brought on. It was Albert Pujols, Barry Bonds, like I mentioned, Anthony Rizzo, Hunter Pence, all the dudes. Well, the last two dudes that I mentioned, I grew up watching, and those are just cool dudes. Cool dudes. I don't know the guys, but I remember watching them. Anthony Rizzo and Hunter Pence, man, they're awesome. Same with I caught Albert Pujols' kind of career at the end, but still cool to watch, man. But yeah, that was a home run derby. I'm really happy with that, and I hope they continue to do it like that because that was a really successful home run derby, and I saw a lot of positive feedback from it. Now I want to go to the All-Star game, and I haven't been this excited about an All-Star game in years. I mean, probably since 2019, 17 was when the Nats had like 6 guys and 4 guys, 5 guys. It was Harper, Trey, Zim, Murph, Straz, Scherzer. That might have been it. Was Gio Gonzalez? No, I don't think so. But let's kind of talk through the game. Let's talk who's starting, who's in the lineups. Kind of talk about just the game in general, how I think it's going to go. So the American League, John Schneider for the Blue Jays is the manager. He picked Dylan Cease, also for the Blue Jays. Cam Schlittler said I don't think he wants to pitch for the All-Star game because he wants to get ready for the second half. He doesn't want to pitch over his scheduled start. He wants to. It's something all about that. I guess I respect it, but in some cases it's like, bro, it's the All-Star game. Just pitch an inning, you'll be good. But then again, I can't talk because I don't know what it's like to play. I don't know what it's like to prepare. I don't know what it's like to do all that as a pitcher. So I guess I can't really knock the guy too hard, but I don't know. Unless you're like Ohtani, when you're actually injured and you're not playing, where it's Cam Schlittler, at least I don't know, man. Make an effort to play at least, At least try to play. But Dylan Cease is pretty damn good anyways. Dylan Cease, 6-4, 2.56 ERA, 148 strikeouts on the year so far, with a unfortunate Blue Jays team not having the best of years so far. Got a lot of injuries. They are dead last in the American League East, 12 games back of the Rays, who I don't think they're going to catch at all. The Rays are on fire this year. And then as for the wild card standings, they are 2.5 games back, obviously, because the American League is absolutely terrible. I mean, the Twins are right outside the wild card berth. The Red Sox are, after having a 9-game run. The Nats actually were the last team to beat the Red Sox, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. I think it's been 9 games since the finale in Fenway that I went to. I went to all 3 games in Fenway, which was really cool. The Nats played. I saw the fight with Contreras and Cavalli. That was pretty cool. Let's list off the American League lineup real quick. Obviously, Mike Trout's batting leadoff. Love that. Yordan Alvarez having a great year. 318 average, 31 homers, 70 RBIs, 1.059 OPS. That's just absurd. He's having a year. Shea Bangaliers, or Shea Langoliers, as he is known by the government as, is batting third for the Athletics. Junior Caminero, even though he put up a stinker in the home run derby, I still have a lot of respect for the guy. I think he's a really electric player. Bobby Witt's batting fifth. Cody Bellinger for the Yankees, batting sixth. Ben Rice, back-to-back Yankees, 6 and 7. Riley Green for the Tigers. Don't have a problem with that. I don't really follow the American League. That's not my league. Obviously, I'm a National League guy, but I do know a lot because I follow baseball quite attentively. And then rounding off the lineup, the man who got the most votes in the American League, Ernie Clement, folks. And I know I've done my fair share of rants over on Substack, in those podcasts I did over there. But wow, I think it's time to be done with fan voting. I really think we should probably be ending that. And I'm going to get to that when we get to the National League, because you could say it's biased, but I have a couple things I want to talk about when it comes to the National League lineup, especially with the man James Wood, who will not be in the starting lineup for questionable reasons. I'm not sure. And I'm going to get to those guys in 1 second. Starting for the National League, it really was a toss-up. National League Cy Young race is going to be unreal. You got Paul Skeens. Obviously, he's always going to be in there. You got Mizorowski. He's just dealing this year. He's unreal, man. He's just so crazy to watch. It's unreal. I don't know how another human specimen can do that. He's a freak. But starting for the National League All-Stars is Christopher Sanchez from the Philadelphia Phillies. Obviously the hometown, not the hometown, but the home city that he plays for, Philadelphia Phillies. Games in Philly this year. He is 11-4, 2.62 ERA, obviously deserved. 1.19 whip, 144 strikeouts. Obviously much deserved start. He's unreal. He's just like Mizorowski. Crazy to watch. He's diced the nets up a couple times. However, not the game in DC that he started in the finale there, in that absolutely disastrous 4-game set in DC. I was at that game. I was on a little vacation. That was the third in a row we blew in the late innings. It was just crazy. But the Nats got him for a couple of early runs, so that was pretty cool to see. The lineup for the National League: Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, Freddie Freeman, C.J. Abrams, Max Muncy, Ozzie Albies, Brandon Marsh, Andy Pajes, and Drake Baldwin. All right. So Soto's fine. Soto's the man. We love Soto. I have a couple posters of Soto. I think he's right there. Right there. That's a 2019 poster, baby. 2019 champions. Let's go, baby. Let's talk about... so Brandon Marsh I can accept after he torched us a couple weeks ago in that DC series I was mentioning earlier. I'm fine with him. But let's kind of talk about Andy Pajes for a second. And I want to talk about this and Ernie Clement at the same time. Fan voting tends to help the fans in cities that are bigger. And people might be saying, "Oh, but DC is a big city," and you're absolutely right, it is. But it's not. I won't say the Nats fans are very passionate, but there's just a small group of us. Unlike the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, where the Blue Jays have a whole country behind them, and the Dodgers are like, the MLB's darling child, right? So everybody votes for them. I think it should just be like, I don't know, maybe the coach's pick, or I don't know how they would do it, but they need to fix this, because in no world whatsoever should a man named Andy Pajes be starting over James Wood in the All-Star game. Let's kind of look at Andy Pajes' stats on the year so far. Again, not bad stats, but to be starting in the All-Star game in center, I believe he's playing, it's just, oh my God. Over a man who was just playing out of his mind to start the year. Out of his mind. 270 average, 17 homers, 66 RBIs, and 807 OPS. Again, not bad at all. Not bad. Those are great stats. Okay? But when we're looking at James Wood, for instance, we're going to be talking about 279 average, 28 homers, 64 RBIs, and I believe he's the third best in OPS at 985, maybe second, I don't know. But there's no way that James Wood should be not starting. He's in the All-Star game, thank God. But there's no way that he shouldn't be starting. It's mental to me how somebody can actually look at the voting and choose Andy Pages over James Wood. And I was listening to a podcast that I listened to, Nats Chat. Nats fans know it because they're like the Nats podcast. Al Galdi and Mark Zuckerman. They brought up a point where it's like on the actual ballot. It's so crazy that people are like this, but on the ballot, people voted more for Andy Pages because his name is an A and it's a P, so his name would show up before James. Because James Wood's always all the way at the bottom because of Wood, W, because alphabetical order. So P would be before W, but I think that applies more to Brandon Marsh because I think Dodgers fans would vote for Andy Pages either way. I don't know. It's just they have to fix the voting system because it's not it's not ethical. It's not it's I don't know about ethical, but it's not. I don't know, man. People just shouldn't. People need to be unbiased, and you might think I'm being biased, but the stats back it up that I'm saying. No, in no world should James Wood not be starting in the All-Star game this year. But people, you can always go to my Substack to see my rants on that. That's just how it is. Foster Griffin. Let's give a little nod to Foster Griffin as well, the third Nats All-Star this year, the third and final All-Star. Yeah, man. Really happy for the guy. He deserved to make it, even though it was a little too late. But with stats like 10-2, 2.77 ERA, 109 strikeouts, you deserve to be in the game no matter what. I don't know if he'll be in. I don't know if he'll pitch, but at least he's playing. And he deserves it. Coming over from Japan in his rookie year, really happy for the guy to finally be able to get recognition on a team that doesn't get recognized for its great pitchers, and we'll get into that in just a second. But that is the All-Star game. My prediction. I hate to be this guy, like the homer. But I do believe that Mr. C.J. Abrams will go deep tonight. That's my opinion. I think he's going deep first at bat. I really do. I think Schwarber's going to go deep to lead off. And I think Freddie Freeman's going to get on with a double. And Abrams is going to hit a 2-run homer. Come back to that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he strikes out against Dylan Cease. But I feel like Dylan Cease isn't the worst pitcher to be facing in the All-Star game. Thank God CJ's in the NL. Thank God. Because he'd have to face Christopher Sanchez and Mizorowski and all these people. We'll see. And James Wood, I think he goes 1 for 2 if he gets 2 at-bats. I don't know. Now, let's just kind of talk about the Nats specifically for a second. Let's kind of talk about, are the Nats going to be sellers or are they going to be buyers at the deadline? Now, I had my opinion on this last podcast. If you go on Substack, we talked about this. I talked about this. Excuse me for if I keep clearing my throat. I'm sorry about that. I was saying that we will see how the Yankee series goes. This is before the Yankee series, and we'll get to that. I think I was going to give it till the end of the Colorado series, which is we come out of the All-Star break, we play the Athletics and then Colorado. And then I think at that point, because those are two kind of below-average teams, we will see. If we play good against them, maybe we start buying. If we play bad, time to sell. Now that the Yankees games are over, after the Nats had the lead or were tied with the Yankees going into the 8th every single game and lost all 3, I've come to my decision that I think we need to give it one more year. We're there, but I think we need to give it one more year. Because right now, the National League wildcard standings look like this. The Cubs, Phillies, and Marlins are in. The Cubs and Phillies are pretty much locks, if I'll be honest with you. The Marlins might move out because the Cardinals, Pirates, maybe Diamondbacks come in. The Nats are right behind the Padres, so it goes for the teams that are outside the standings. Cardinals, Pirates, Diamondbacks, Padres, Nats. And then it kind of does a big dip in the Reds, Giants, Mets, and Rockies. So the Nats are like the last team that might be able to have a chance. But I think we might be done this year. I hate to say it, but you look at what the Marlins have done this past June and into July. They have been unreal. I don't know how they've done it, I don't know how they did it. I don't know what kind of sorcery is going on in Miami right now. I don't know, but they look like they're in a prime position to at least make a run, which puts us in a really terrible position. Um, St. Louis is going to keep playing hard. I don't know if they're going to make it in the end, but they're playing really well. Pittsburgh, I think, is kind of like us with the bullpen situation. The Diamondbacks might make a leg push because they always seem to be in it at the end. The Diamondbacks always seem to be there. And the Padres, I don't think they're going to be buying this deadline. I think they're going to be trading Mason Miller. So the Nats, if they were going to make a run, it would be really hard because the National League is crazy this year. So I think what they do, you hold on one more year. You really want to make sure you lock up Abrams and Wood, which it's just so hard to do in this organization because our owner and general manager are like terrible. So we need to lock those two up. We need to make sure that this group stays together. Maybe look for a second baseman because we're really lacking at that position in the big leagues this year. I think Louis is good at first. Obviously, James Dillon. Dillon is gonna be fine. People keep worrying about Dylan Cruz. I have faith in Dylan Cruz. Once he plays a full year, he's played mostly a full year. He got called up a couple months ago, I remember, from AAA after starting out in AAA Rochester. Excuse me. I think that give him one more year and really this offseason, really focus on the pitching. Obviously, it's not like a surprise. Everybody knows how bad the pitching is. Everybody knows how terrible the bullpen is. If you're able to lock up Foster Griffin, who's going to be testing free agency this offseason, no doubt about it, because only signed him to a 1-year deal. He's going to be looking after this year. Teams are going to be shopping for him. You need to make sure you be aggressive with him. Need to get him locked up. Need to get CJ locked up. Need to get James locked up. That's the top three. Louis, yes. Dalen, sure. Dylan, maybe. Curtis Meade, maybe give him a little bit of an extension. The lineup is fine. Everybody knows that. We're one of the most productive offenses in the league. We're tied first in home runs with the Yankees. We're top 5 in runs scored. James Wood has the most runs scored, I believe, in the league as a singular position. I might get that wrong. Don't quote me on that. Paul Toboni needs to get off his ass. Mark Lerner, or whoever the Lerner, Mark Lerner, or one of the Lerners needs to give Paul Toboni the money. And I know Paul Toboni had much more of a budget than Mike Rizzo did. But you know what Paul Toboni did? He did nothing. He signed Foster Griffin, which was really good, and he's been the anchor of our rotation. But we need to do better, okay? We cannot be having Matt Crook, or whatever his name is, Clayton Beater, Gus Varlin, Lovelady, like all these dudes who are not major league pitchers come out in the bullpen. Like Justin Lawrence is going to be fine for the rest of the year. We're not going to keep him next year. I don't believe so. So my take is that the Nationals need to sell at the deadline. What I mean by sell, don't go trading CJ. Don't go trading everybody. Maybe just stay put. Maybe sell a couple pieces, but stay put. And if you want to buy some pitchers and maybe make a run, I'm not mad at that. I would love if they bought, but my opinion on what they will do is that they were going to sell or stay put. It's really unfortunate because this is, as I mentioned in my article the other day, probably the most wasted potential a team has had, maybe ever, with the stars that we have on offense and the offense that we have, just to get ruined by the pitching. And I'm not even talking about the starting pitching anymore because they've proven to be like okay. Cavalli's the man, so is Foster Griffin. Okay, boom. Littell has been fine this year. He had that really good May, or was it June? Did he have that really good June? Yeah, really good May, I believe it was. Really good May. Really good early June. He's going to give up these games. He's going to have these games. It's unfortunate. Excuse me. He's going to have these games. Michaelis is going to be gone. He's just kind of a filler. But that's why I use an opener with him. And he kind of locks in kind of sometimes. And then, who else is there? Jake Irvin. Once Jake Irvin comes back from his injury, move Andrew Alvarez back to the bullpen so he and Brad Lord can be the long man. I don't know what you want to do with Brad Lord. I don't know if he's part of the future. We'll see about that. But I think for the deadline, the Nats just need to look at themselves and go, okay, we know what our weakness is, and it's obviously the bullpen. Do you think you can make a run? That's up for them to judge. I think if you really, really, really wanted to, you can. If August 1st you're like going, okay, we just had a good series against the Rockies, Athletics. Let me look here for the schedule. And then you go to Arizona and Toronto and Atlanta. So if you're looking, August 3rd is the deadline, I believe. So you just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 good series. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you have 5 good series, right? and you're looking, you go, okay, we're in it still. We're hanging on by a thread and we're in it. Do you think we can make a run? Paul Toboni, if you want to go spend some money, or spend some money, if you want to go buy at the deadline, run wild. I mean, Chapman. I don't know if Chapman's going to be up on the block now. The Sox are putting together a nice run, so Mason Miller might be on the block. I mean, that would be like adding like that would just be crazy if we were able to do that. But the Padres are most likely going to be asking for like Eli Willits and all these guys like Morales in our farm system that we probably don't want to give up. So we will see about that. And then, yeah, the bullpen you need. Excuse me. God, I'm tired today. Sorry about that. The bullpen you need. You need more bullpen. Maybe get somebody for maybe get like a starter or two, like with like a 3 ERA, you know. If you can get somebody like nails in the bullpen, maybe two or three bullpen guys, man, I mean, you're looking at wins. Because you know the offense is not going to disappoint you no matter who's on the mound. Are they going to have a stinker or two a month? Yeah, they are. It's baseball. That's what teams do. But man, if Paul Toboni can just really reach back and just like sign somebody or trade for somebody nice, man. I mean, that would be huge for the team, man. I'm telling you right now. So my official opinion is that the Nationals should absolutely stay put and wait for next year. But if you are going to buy, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to be mad at all. If you think you have a shot, I love that from you. I love that from the Nats. If Paul Toboni thinks he has a shot at winning and maybe getting to a wild card spot or maybe fighting in September, dude, that's what I've wanted out of a general manager for a long time, man. So go for it. I'm not against it. But my personal opinion, I think that next year you kind of reevaluate yourself, blank slate, go into the winter meetings, make some extensions, make some trades, sign some people. I mean, man, we're looking at we are right there, folks. We are right there. We are right there. Yeah, I mean, you just need to. And to be fair to Toboni, I wrote this in my article. Did he know that this team was going to be like good coming out of spring training? Probably not. I mean, in spring training, our offense looked absolutely horrific, and our pitching looked fantastic. That just shows you, man. Always got to be ready, man, because this is baseball. And I'm so sorry. It's baseball. People are gonna overperform, and I think the Nats have overperformed so far this year. People like Meade, James Wood having a obviously a great year. Abrams is having a fantastic year. He's starting a shortstop in the National League, for Christ's sake. So I don't know who I blame, but it's Lerners or Toboni. But I'm still gonna have faith in Toboni. I think this Lerner should absolutely still be selling. Yeah, that's my opinion. So my official statement is that the Nationals should stay put this year. If you want to buy, run wild. If you don't, stay put. I don't know about selling. I don't know who you would sell. Excuse the commotion outside. But I don't know who you would sell. But don't be anybody like Abrams or Wood or anybody like that. So that's my stance on that. Just some quick more housekeeping things. Probably what's today? Thursday, Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, guys. Today's Tuesday. Probably this weekend I'm pretty busy. I have a lot of things going on. I have a couple calls. I'm going to a concert, so probably next week is going to be the next upload. But yeah, this was really fun to kind of talk about the Nationals' future and where they plan to go. Um, I think next time we'll probably talk about like an All-Star review. By that time, they'll probably still be playing. They'll probably start playing the Rockies or the Athletics. So to probably talk about that series. And like I said before, please go over to my Substack and check out all those articles that I have up. I love writing. That's my passion. So go check those out. A lot of recaps. There's some Throwback Thursdays on there. I just did something about the 1994 All-Star Game. I've done stuff on Stan Musial. I've done stuff on many different. I've done some like National Throwback Thursday, like Daniel Murphy, Max Scherzer. I've done how Bryce Harper betrayed me as a fan. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff on there, in my opinion. It's all free. And if it asks you, like, if you search it up and ask to subscribe, click like or like subscribe for like $80. Click like the bottom one where it's like no, and then just subscribe for free. I don't know why it does that. Do not listen to the $80. Don't do that. It's free. It's free. And yeah, go watch the prior podcast just for some other information if you want. Yeah, that's about it. Again, sorry for the commotion outside. As for production wise, I'm not really like in tune with how this all works. I have this microphone. I have the headphones. I try to get a camera, but the USB-C outlet, it's like this thing is like too big for my outlet because it's like I have the microphone plugged in and I also have this, and the outlets are like too close together, so I can't fit this in the plug or the outlet. I don't even know the terminology. So production wise, I don't know how this is going to be. I might do some editing as everything goes forward. We'll see how that goes. I'm not like a great like designer, so thumbnails might not be like the coolest, but it is what it is. I'm trying my best here. All I want to do is just talk baseball. That's the goal here. As we get on, I want to do some like Nationals history or baseball history because I love talking about that. Maybe give my insight because I do have a lot of like a good amount of knowledge on past things, players, teams, etc., etc. So I'd love to talk about those too. Maybe throw up some highlights. I don't know about the copyright stuff. That's all a little fuzzy to me. I'll have to read up on that. But I know I don't have any copyright things in here. But yeah, that's the first episode of Natitude News on YouTube. Really excited about this. Hopefully it keeps going. Hopefully I grow a bigger platform so I can get out to more people and just talk Nats, baby. That's the goal. Everybody, thank you for joining me. I'm Josh St. Laurent, and go Nats. And yeah, that's it.